Just like calling 911, cell phone users can now text 911 in case of an emergency.
We've always been able to take a phone call, of course, but what about texting? What about sending a picture? What about sending a video? These are things that 911 centers throughout the country are attempting to deal with.
The new texting system was recently implemented at the St. George Dispatch Center. However, in its first few weeks of integration, it hasn't been used.
Usually answer about 80 calls a day, just regular incoming calls, things like that. And I haven't seen any of these come in other than the ones that we send to practice.
Dispatchers can answer back to 911 texts with various questions already programmed into the system. And while the word about 911 text hasn't been out long, dispatchers believe the need for it will be rare.
Maybe they've been kidnapped, maybe they've been taken advantage of, something along those lines, maybe they're trapped somewhere, but for whatever reason they're not able to openly say, I need help, I'm in a bad situation, something like that.
Grenier said another scenario might be the lack of cell phone coverage in an area.
The cell coverage might be sufficient for you to send a text, but it might not be of adequate coverage or bandwidth so that you can't really make a phone call. In that instance, you might be able to text 911, and it does transmit the location, the latitude and longitude, and we can send help.
While the technology is new, it's not always considered better. That's because the delay in time it takes to text could be crucial.
It delays response for the time the text message goes out and when you get one.
With regard to an ambulance or a fire truck, we are required to dispatch that out in 90 seconds when someone calls 911. So if you compare the two, when time is of the essence, please call if you can, text if you can't.
And because dispatchers are trained to listen to what's going on in the background, audio plays a big role in how they respond to an emergency.
I've heard gunshots in the background of phone calls. That kind of information, even though it's not conveyed by the reporting party, still makes it into the call and changes our public safety response to those calls.
And just like 911, prank texts will be handled like prank 911 calls.
If you abuse this service, much the same as if you call 911 when it's not an emergency, you can face legal consequences.
Grenier said it may take a while for the word to get out about text 911. However, he believes the old-fashioned phone call is still the best way to send out a cry for help.
So it might take a while for that to resonate with the public, and I still think that when it's an emergency, people want to talk to another human being as quickly as possible.
In St. George, Melissa Anderson, CEC News.